guys, so I wanted to come on here and kind of read a couple questions for some viewers. I'm not going to mention their screen names just to respect their privacy. So I do a lot of videos on interracial dating. I have a lot of indirect experience with it. I have siblings who date interracially, and they know that I am adamantly against it. I also have biracial nieces and nephews. Mostly nephews. I have a biracial niece as well. So I know quite a bit about the experiences that biracial children go through, and I know about the dynamic of interracial dating and how it's just very counterproductive, and how it changes the mindset of black people that engage in it. Generally, when black people get into relationships with white people, they ignore racism. They defend white supremacy. They don't require their white partner to really do anything to combat white supremacy at all. I do believe that by and large, with the exception of maybe a tiny percentage, collectively black people do not have the self-esteem necessary to navigate through interracial relationships in a way that will be conducive to their success and empowerment of their community. That is evidenced by reality. So by and large, I think it's a very negative thing for the black community. I think black people simply shouldn't do it. I think there's no reason why, no logical reason why black people would even like white people, the majority of them, let alone procreate with them. But anyways, I have some questions for some viewers, and they relate to interracial dating. The good thing is that I actually have a lot of biracial nephews, and a niece that's biracial. So I do know a lot about the dynamic of it, and I think these perspectives will kind of help the viewers. But anyway, so this one said, I've been watching your videos for a few months now, and I really enjoy them. You're very intelligent and speak nothing but the absolute truth. Well, thanks for that. That's a very nice compliment. I left a comment on one of your videos a while back, and I was talking about how I'm a teenage girl growing up with white adoptive parents. My cousins actually went through that. I have some cousins. They are half Samoan and half black, and they were actually adopted by white parents too. Your videos on black people being in interracial relationships with white people really opened my eyes to my own experiences. You mentioned how black people in these relationships don't talk about race issues with their parents in order to keep them comfortable. Well, I go through the same thing, only with my parents. The uprisings in Ferguson and Baltimore really showed me the reality of race in America. I had been brainwashed by my white parents. I decided that I wanted to start talking about these issues with my parents, but was immediately met with your typical white fragility remarks like, oh, you just have a chip on your shoulder, or you're an angry black girl. That's disgusting. Like, the thing of... I'm going to get to the rest of your post, but that's exactly what I'm talking about, because I can only imagine what that does to the psyche of your child that is black, and then you as their parents are dismissing concerns and issues that affect them. Like, that's just disgusting. Hearing these remarks coming from them really broke me, and I don't know how to deal with it. I'll be graduating high school in 2 years, and I'm able to move out. I don't know what I should do. It's more complicated in my situation because I'm financially dependent on them at the moment. I was hoping I could get some advice from you on how black kids being raised by white supremacist parents can deal with it. I really appreciate it. So the good thing is you'll be graduating high school soon, so you will be able to move out. But I would imagine in 2 years your experience can do a lot to your psyche and your self-esteem being a black girl, because you're already growing up in a society that does not favor you. Hopefully soon we'll be able to change that around, but right now we have to address your situation in the present. What I would advise is stop talking to your parents about the racism. They've already showed you that they really don't care. If you keep trying to get them to care, you're going to be more disappointed. Get with some black friends that share your struggle and use them as a means of relating to and being able to talk to, because your white parents don't get it. It appears, if you look at the rate of white crime against their own family members, they have a problem loving each other and their own children they have one of the highest child abuse rates of anyone. So loving another person's child that they didn't carry, especially one that's of a different race than them, is nearly impossible. I don't think white people should be allowed to adopt black children. I don't. I don't think they should be anywhere near black people. I think it's very toxic for them to be around black people, and I think it's very psychologically detrimental. I really feel bad, and this angers me to a degree. Like, it really bothers my heart, because I can see what you have to go through. Again, my cousins are black, and they were adopted by white people in Utah. So being adopted by white Mormons, where their whole religion is predicated on you being cursed, because basically the Mormon religion says that white people who disobeyed God were cursed as black. So that just gives you a little context on their mentality. The way that my cousins were able to get through it being black is that they have a lot of black cousins. And so even if they can't talk to their white parents about it, they'll talk to, their black cousins, because we can relate to their struggles. So what I would encourage you to do is get some black male and female friends. I don't know if you have any siblings or not. I know you didn't mention that, but if you have siblings, that would be good, because you need someone that you can talk to about that situation. If you need different advice, you can always come to me and email me, and I'll try to get back to you on it, just if you have questions, even if you want to do it outside of the video. I'm just reading this in the video because I already asked her permission to, if anybody's wondering. I already asked her if I could share this with viewers. Get you some black friends. Stop talking to your white parents about it, because they're not going to get it. They're already showing you that they don't get it. They're not going to get it. Their attitude is definitely that of a white supremacist, is very dismissive, and it will destroy you psychologically if you keep trying to get people who don't care about your struggle to care about it. Sadly, the people who are your parents and who raised you, they should care about what you go through. But the fact that they're telling you that you're an angry black girl, or that you have a chip on your shoulder because you care about the lives of other black people, is disgusting. Understand that the problem isn't you, it's your white supremacist parents. The problem isn't you. You're not an angry black girl. You don't have a chip on your shoulder just because you care about seeing people being killed with impunity and unmercifully and unnecessarily in the media. You're not a problem just because you're asking that. So get some black friends, and be very selective of these black friends. Don't get black friends that are built up on colorism. Don't deal with black kids that are black friends that are going to talk about black on black crime. Try to find you a good solid group of black friends, and then talk to them, because they're going to be able to relate to you. They have the same problems as you do. What you need right now, especially in high school, is someone to relate to. I hate the fact that this is going on while you're in high school, because that's the time where you build your identity. Because the adolescent time is literally almost the most important time of your life, where your entire self-esteem and self-identity is predicated on how people view you, what they say to you, how they treat you, what you see in the media. So basically all of these things are going to shape your psyche, and your parents are really not helping you with that. They're contributing to the problem. So what I would advise is that you stop talking to them about it. If you have any black siblings, any black family, I know you said you're adopted, but if you somehow have a way to contact other black family, I know, again, with my cousins, they were adopted by white people, but they still have access to us. They're still able to talk to us. We stay in contact with them. We see them. So if you have any black extended family, do reach out to them. If you can't reach out to them, get some black friends. Stop talking to your black parents about it. Stop expecting them to care. And I know it sounds callous, but you have to, because if you keep trying to get them to care about your situation, it's going to cause you more harm. Right now, you already see what it is, so take it for what it is. Don't talk to them about any racial issues. Talk to them about whatever issues that doesn't relate to race or racial problems. And I know that'll be hard because our country is saturated with racial problems right now. But try to keep whatever you talk to them about at a minimal. and then get you some black friends and let them be your support system. Talk to them about it, because you want to talk to some people you can relate to and who get it, rather than someone who's just going to dismiss it and then cause problems. So that's what I would advise you to do. And again, sorry that you have to go through this. It is very disgusting. Yeah, that enrages me, the fact that you have to go through that. So another viewer said, I'm Hispanic, Mexican, and Native, but not black. I have a question. So my fiance is white, and I usually only date non-white people. When I met him, I was worried about things and made sure he was as passionate about what I think and love as him. He has been really helpful. I love the fact that even these high school and very young people have way better punctuation than these white supremacist trolls. They write very eloquently. The way that they communicate what they're trying to say is very good, and that's and I appreciate it, because they're not sitting here talking about high IQs. These white supremacist trolls are, and yet the way these questions are written is very well written. So I do want to let you guys know that. Yeah, when I met him, I was worried about things and made sure he was as passionate about what I think and love as him. He has been really helpful and does everything he can to help and listen to other people. He almost punched a guy once that said Blue Lives Matter, and when he says some questionable things, I tell him, and not only does he apologize, but asks why it's wrong and damaging to people of color. We are currently trying to work on a game designed to specifically help black people feel less pressure to fail in science. He knows about how white supremacy lives in science classrooms and are less, classrooms, and to actually get into it. He is always trying to do something about it and donates as much time and money to places he knows contract fairly and that aren't horrible. He acknowledges all white people are racist because of the system and doesn't deny it, but he does ask how he can personally help and keep spaces for people who aren't like him open. I'd also like to add that I've met a lot of white women who date non-white men because of fetishes. I've also met a lot of people who date black men, especially, who are really racist and use them as an excuse to silence others who call them out. Also, as a question, what can I do as a Latina to further expand communication between our people? So I think you have a lot of great questions. It sounds like you're very well-rounded, and kudos to you for not dating a white supremacist. Usually my problem with interracial dating is that it's very counterproductive, and part of that is because the non-white person in the relationship with the white person is not requiring them to do anything to uplift their community, and it sounds like your boyfriend is doing that, which is really good. So that I have no problem with. I do agree with him that all white people are racist. I think even if they aren't intentionally racist, they have a racist mindset unless they work really hard not to. Jane Elliott is clearly not racist. Tim Wise has made himself out to not be racist. So obviously all white people don't have to be racist. The ones who are white supremacists are choosing to partake in white supremacy, but you can actively, as a white person, work to not be racist. So that's good that he's doing that. What you can do to further expand communication between our people is to also try to educate other Latinos and educate them as to how white supremacy is not just against black people, but white supremacy is against you as well. There isn't a group of people on this planet that white supremacy has not affected in a negative manner. The media uses propaganda to pit different racial groups against each other, especially different minority groups, specifically the Latino group and the black group, from uniting, so that, because the thing of it is if you have blacks and Latinos getting together to go against white supremacy, then white supremacy has a problem. They may not care if Latinos separately say they're going to do it. They may not care if black people separately say they're going to do it, but they're very afraid of minority groups uniting, because they already saw the ramifications about that with Bacon's Rebellion. If you want to know how white supremacy and white privilege was established, read Bacon's Rebellion, the story of it, because basically they had a bunch of minority groups who were all being oppressed, and then those minority groups joined together and they overthrew the white supremacists and got themselves out of indentured servitude. So they run the risk of that happening again, and white supremacists always go back and see where they made mistakes so that they don't have to run the risk of that. So what you can do is try to educate, you know, your community members on the fact that black people are not against them. Try to educate them on the fact that we're better fighting the same better together. We have more chances of being successful of doing it together than separately. Educate them on the fact that we're not oppressing them. We have no desire to oppress them, and we will unite with them. You can try to not feed into the stereotypes or the propaganda that's put out there about black people and Latinos and Latinas. So those are some things that you can do too, and that'll help you to get communication between black people and Latinas, because at the end of the day, let's say hypothetically, white supremacists do wipe out black people. That's not going to happen, but let's just say for the sake of this question, they do that. You already know as a Latina that white supremacy has a history of oppressing your people too. So if they're not able to oppress black people, then that leads you guys to fall victim to white supremacy as well. And since you already know you have been victims of white supremacy, then you know that if white supremacists doesn't have black people to oppress, they have to have someone to oppress in order to feel supreme. You're going to be the next target. It would be the same thing with Asians and Indians and Mexicans and other people. The bottom line is, this should be a problem for all of us, not just black people. You shouldn't have to wait until Donald Trump says something about Latinos or Asians or Indians to have a problem with him. You should know that if he's okay with oppressing black people or trying to get rid of Mexicans, then he'll do that to you too. Because at the end of the day, the only people we haven't attacked is white people. White supremacy only extends to white people and white supremacists. So therefore, by default, if you're a person of color, you have the same problem, and it is solely beneficial to you to join with other people who have the same issue as you and fight it together. So that's what I would encourage you to do. That is my advice. And again, I thank both of you for these questions. If anyone else have questions, feel free to ask me. Contrary to what a lot of people believe, I have not had a privileged life. I've been through almost everything that anyone has been through, with the except for consistent, ongoing physical domestic violence. Other than that, name it and I've been through it. In my 31 years, there isn't any group of people that I cannot relate to due to the life I've had. You guys see me on the videos and you see me made up. Some of you may see my car on Facebook and you might see a privileged person. That's absolutely not the case. I've had a very hard life. I've had a lot of bad experiences. And so if I can use those experiences to help people who may be going through them, then that's fine. If you have questions about anything, feel free to ask me. I'll try to get to your emails. Typically, if it's going to be a lot of them, you want to shorten them. I only did these two because there are two of them. But the good thing is that both of these situations kind of relate to incidents and things that's going on in my family. Again, I have a lot of interracial daters in my family. I have a lot of biracial nephews and nieces. So with these, it's very easy to draw from those experiences of what I've seen to give the advice. A lot of other topics I have advice on. I have a degree in psychology. I have a lot of background. I also was taking chemical dependency. I've dealt with a drug addict in my family. So there's a lot of situations that I can provide advice on. So if you guys are interested in me doing a separate sector where I can give you advice or you can ask questions, I have a lot of relationship experience. I don't believe that a person needs to be in a relationship to give relationship advice, because at the end of the day, even if they're not in a relationship, you know they've had failed relationships, so you would know that they can give you advice on what not to do to sustain their relationship. So anything you guys want to know, if you feel like you want some advice, if you want my perspective, do let me know. I don't have all the answers to everything in the world, but I have been through a lot of stuff to where I can generally, by hearing your situation, if I've been through it, I can predict for you how it's going to turn out. I've done this to people, and generally I'm always right. I have not had a situation where a woman, especially with regards to a man, brought her situation to me and asked me what was going to happen, and I would tell her what's going to happen, and the very thing that was going to happen would happen. So yeah, if you guys just want advice, feel free to ask. If you don't, you don't have to. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video. And thanks to the two ladies that sent in the questions, and thanks for letting me read it and share it with other people. I hope the advice was good, and I hope it's beneficial for you. I hope it helps. And for the one that has the white parents, please do follow up with me if you're watching. Please follow up with me and let me see and let me know how things are going. You don't have to tell me all of your business, but I would like to know if you were able to get some black friends and some people that you can relate to, because your situation really does bother me. So please do, if you have time, or if you remember, or if you're watching, just follow up with me at some point to let me know how things are going. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and thanks for sharing the videos. I'll see you in the next one.